We must plan and heal, Emmeline. I will hold you until you can hold yourself. And today we are chatting about the Shifter Cities series by Jaymin Eve. Right, Jaymin Eve. Oh,
Yeah, I would say Jaymin. Jaym or
yeah,
Jmyn. Sure.
Jaymin. Jaymin.
Yes. So
Yaman.
Yaman, Jasmine. I don't know. We'll just call her
Mm.
Jay. J-Man. Anywho, before I give the synopsis of this book, or maybe the reason why we read this series, I feel like we have to give a little bit of background information. Is I was reading the series and I was loving it, and for those who listen, Jen and I will like send screenshots of what we're reading, and so. Oh yeah, so I was sending like screenshots to Jen about the series, and then I think I was like halfway through, or maybe it's 4 books, or maybe to like a book 3 or whatever, and Jen was asking about it, and I was like, this series is about to knock Emerald Lakes out of the top running. That's how much I loved this series. And of course that intrigued her because we both love Emerald Lakes and there's not a lot of things that beat it. And then so
Yeah.
because I had said that, she read the series, and so here we are. So that is the history of this conversation. Now, the synopsis. It's 4 books. It's Emmy, right? Emmy or Emma? I think it's Emmy.
I called her M.
She is an Omega that has been on the run for like 10 plus years because her mom was an Omega and was abused by some alphas. And she got it into her head that she didn't want to be mated to any alphas. So it is Omegaverse, sort of. Not your traditional Omegaverse. But she's like, I'm not doing that. That's not going to happen to me. So she's been on the run. Well, in this book, there are 3 cities that are shifter cities. Now, humans don't know about shifters, but it's kind of this culture to where if you're a shapeshifter, yeah, shifter, you're supposed to be in these cities, and Omegas are supposed to be registered so they can keep and protect them because Omegas are supposed to be precious. But her and her mom were outside of that system, and I don't remember why. But the pack that they were with abused them, and then of course ended up killing her mom, so that's why she was on the run. So book 1 starts out with her essentially, she pretty much tried to hide among the humans and was constantly on the run. Is a shifter catches her scent, and so now she's on the run, but unfortunately you got some good shifters on her trail who know how to track her, and they end up tracking her like 300 miles or halfway across the nation, and then capture her, and they bring her to one of the 3 shifter cities. I couldn't tell you the shifter name cities, I don't know. So she gets there, and she's very snarky, which we love. Definitely doesn't take no shit from nobody, even though she's an Omega. And she lies about her age. She says that she's 18 because she's about to go up against the council, and she doesn't want to be put to death because running and not being registered can potentially put you to death, but not for her because she's an Omega. So she's like trying to lie about her age to like protect herself, even though she's like 23, 25. So she ran away at the age of 13 or 14 and somewhere around there. I can't do maths. And one of the council members happens to be her, it is fated mate, but they use the different terms. It's a scented mate. So you can have a mate, but if you find a scent match mate, that overrides everything because that's essentially your soulmate, your fated mate. And so there's this whole thing. Anyways, so she ends up being mated to the most powerful alphas of the city. And in the cities, you can have quads? 4. Yeah, 4 quads to get a 5 to get the quintessential to be a powerful alpha unit, right? Am I saying that right?
It's 4
Plus the
mates to
Omega.
1 Omega. Yeah. And then they form a quintet.
Thank you. And so she gives them a run for her money. Like legit. So you have the 4 alphas. You have Hunter, who's a wolf. You have Slade, who's a dragon, you have Finley, who's a bear, and you have Kinley, who's also a wolf, and she's a wolf shifter. So you have multi-shifter species mating happening. So essentially, book 1 up into book 2 is just like her transitioning, being in a shifter city, being around a pack, learning how to integrate into that, because she's been on her own this whole entire time and she doesn't know how to process that. And then, of course, there's a deal that takes place to get her to move in with the pack, because she was staying with another pack, because she was like, no, we're not scented mates. I don't know who you think you are. And everyone's like, we know you're scented mates. We can see it. Like, so, and then the rest of the books are just about her, again, integrating, but like getting to know each one of her shifters, becoming closer to them, the mystery of why she and her mom were outside of the pack, and why there are so few Omegas. That's like a really pretty high level. I mean, I could go into more detail because I fucking love this series. Like, I can.
No, I think that covers, I mean,
Yeah.
the bird's eye view of it.
Yeah. So, one other thing that is very important is Slade is the only dragon in the world. Well, what you don't know is that he actually has a twin that was separated from him. He also becomes part of the bond. His name is Talon. And what you don't know until book 2 or 3 is that the bad guy is Hunter's dad. He has been kidnapping and experimenting with Omegas because when you're in your quintet,
Quintet.
thank you.
Quintet.
When the alphas mate with their Omega, they can share power. And he's been trying to find a way to take that power by using Omegas, by creating fake scent bonds. And so you learn that her mom thought that she was scent matched to that one pack, but that's not true. It was a test. It was an experiment to see if they could pull power from her, and they did. And then what you don't know until later is that Emmy is a hybrid. She's half wolf, half witch, caster. I don't know what they use, a different word, but I don't think it's witch. Maybe it's caster.
No, I think it's witch.
Is it? Oh, okay. I might be getting books mixed up in my head. And so that means that she has extra power, and that's essentially what Hunter's dad was looking for, was specifically her. But her dad, Emmy's dad, his name's Constantine, and he shows up, and he's been around for like hundreds of years, I think. Because witches,
long time.
Yeah. So then not only there's a battle going on with Hunter's dad, but Hunter's dad is partnered with the witches, and so they have to battle the witches too. And a lot of stuff happens. Kidnappings, humor, prank wars. That's the big highlight. And then they live happily ever after.
And a character goes to therapy. So I was happy.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot that Finley went to therapy. I should have known that would make your heart happy.
And then she starts going to therapy at the end. So I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It read my mind.
That's so funny. So, yeah, reading the series, and I don't know if Jen agrees, but it definitely knocks out Emerald Lakes out of the running for sure. For me, anyways.
I mean, I've not reread Emerald Lakes since we read it. So I feel like it's unfair of me without rereading it to compare, because it's been so long. But I will say I burned through this series, and it is the first series I legitimately could not tell you the last series I physically read. It might have been ACOTAR.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that in and of itself is certainly a nod in its favor.
Yeah, I think everything that I was missing in Emerald Lakes, I got here. Like, it has the same different personalities of the mates. You know, it's reverse harem. Obviously, this is Omega. She wasn't an Omega. The hybrid aspect, the going to war with, you know, the entity or whatever. But I feel like everything that I was missing in Emerald Lakes, I got here in this series. And I will say this, though, for Emerald Lakes, though, Ferris is my number one. He will always and forever be my number one. That will not change. If Ferris was in this series, it would have been 10 times better. Okay, nothing. I'm pretty sure if Ferris was in this series, it might beat Bond. That's saying something, but that's I even but yeah, I
Good old
just
Ferris.
I love that they didn't make her weak. I love that Killian accepted her. Like, he was a little bit hurt, but he accepted her I mean, they all accepted her from the beginning, well, except for Finley, but like understood her need to acclimate to all of the changes. And he's like, okay, you're not comfortable with us being mates. I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to be here
Yeah.
for you. What do you need? I'm your support. Like, I just loved that aspect of, even though they're the mates, they didn't push the physical or anything. It was like, I want to make you happy. Like, what can I do? And I feel like that is important when you're coming from somebody who has this trauma of being alone, not being with the pack.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. When Finley started calling her darling, whew, heart flutters, okay?
Yeah. I was so prepared to not like Finley at any point. I don't know how authors take a character that you want to beat in the face and then turn them into one of the most lovable, adoring, like favorite characters of the series in like 2 books.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the first 2 books, he's a total dickwad.
Yep.
And then the third is just like, oh, we have a teddy bear?
Not a
Uh
porcupine?
yeah, not a porcupine, not a grizzly bear. So I don't know how authors do it because I was fully prepared to not like Finley at any point, but he completely won me over. And I just adored him and their relationship and like how soft he became
Mm-hmm.
for her once he realized like he had pushed too far.
Yeah. I like how and you don't really see this a lot, but sometimes I feel like the main female characters have to change to accommodate each different personality just a smidge, and I don't feel like she did that at all.
No.
I don't at all.
No, I think she maintained who she was while embracing different parts of herself to mesh better with each mate.
Mhm.
Like she gave up more control whenever she was with Hunter and especially Slade and Talon. But then, she was more in control with Kellen and and then he had his adorable little praise kink.
Oh my
And then
gosh. Even when it wasn't directed towards him, they're like, "That's not for you." He's like, "I can't help it. It came out of her mouth."
um and then she gave Finley just as much as he gave her in
Mhm.
both ways. Like as mean as he was to her, she gave it right back. And once he started softening, she didn't come at him as hard anymore. She
Mhm.
didn't budge an inch, but you know, she wasn't unduly mean. I
Mhm.
think she always met their energies really, really well. And I think even though with like Hunter and Slade, they were like the alphas and like they're the head of the things, like she didn't budge an inch with them either. There was at no point that she just rolled over and took whatever they decided. She always had an opinion, always pushed back, and you know kind of followed her instincts when she needed to.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. And Killian was the comic relief,
Yeah,
essentially,
definitely.
and he was a shit stir. And let me tell you something, I loved the text messages. There is something
Yes.
about when an author can do a text a messaging scene. I was super sad that she took the text texting away. Like, I understand why she explained it because they could talk mentally, but I just feel like for
Yeah.
Killian, like, his personality, he'd be like, nah, I'm not going to talk to them in my head. I'm going to blow up their phones and annoy them. Like, to me, that just seemed like something that he would do. And then people are like, you do know that you can talk to us, right? And he's like, no. You have to respond to the text message or it doesn't count, right?
He did say at some point in the series, he was like, this is like group text on steroids. I'm in for life or something
Yeah,
like that. And the
he
only reason I
did.
remember that is because I highlighted it.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. But I feel like it just, I don't know. Being able to speak in
No,
their
I
heads isn't the same as
agree.
it just
Yeah,
wasn't
you
there.
can't see.
And then the prank wars, I love the prank wars. So she was like, Slade needs to
Yeah.
like loosen up. And so the first thing she does is she hides little glow in the dark dragons in his room everywhere. It's not serious pranks, but it's just supposed to be fun and like humorous. And so his response to that prank is a glow in the dark dragon eye that watches her as she
Everything.
sleeps. Yeah,
Yeah.
her whole room. Once she turns the light out, it's a glow in the dark, which I thought that was super sexy. Then
Yeah. Same.
her reaction to that is, so he has what she calls the stalker wall, which is a whole bunch of pictures and like her life history that he's been searching, because Slade is technically has more power than Hunter, but Slade doesn't like the politics, so Hunter is the leader of their group.
Yeah.
But Slade
I'm
is
entitled alpha.
Slade is the computer guru. He's freaking smart as fuck. So like
Yeah.
he instantly like started researching, so he has a whole wall because that's his mate, obviously. So she goes and she puts googly eyes all over the pictures on his stalker wall.
I'm so bummed that we didn't get to see his reaction
I
to
know.
the googly eyes. Like, I understand why. I don't disagree with how she handled it, but I really wish we would have had like a flashback. I guess we couldn't have, because at that point he wouldn't have seen the googly eyes before she was kidnapped.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense. I'm still bummed we didn't get any reaction though.
Mm-hmm. That would have been
Yeah.
great.
Okay, so which like mate story is your favorite? Like how they each came together.
All of them? I think I'm probably gonna say all of them, but I'm also gonna say Talons, because I don't see
Mm-hmm.
any other way that he would have been accepted, because they were so stuck on the quad.
Yeah.
They were so stuck on that it couldn't change or evolve, that you could only have 4 alphas. And
Yeah.
so, and I liked the storyline between Slade and Talon, of the reason why
Yeah.
Slade struggled with his counterpart, his dragon, was because there was literally a piece missing from him. It wasn't just because, like, I hadn't read anything like that before.
Yeah.
So I don't like how it started, but I liked it. And then I was funny as fuck when he's in their jail cell, but he could have left at any time.
Yes.
And they're like, what the
I
fuck do you mean you could have left at any time? He's like, well, yeah, do you think this shit's gonna hold me? Like, no, I'm here because my mate's here. Like, I just want to give you guys a false sense of security, but this isn't. So I liked that. I liked that integration. I liked that false sense of security. He's like, duh, I'm just here because my mate's here. Like, you can't keep her from me. That
right.
I like them. Because angst. I like angst. And I felt like there was more angst with Talon than there was with anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
definitely.
then the struggle that Talon had to do of, his, I guess, adopted father, because Slade grew up with
Yeah.
Hunter. They're essentially foster brothers, but
Yeah.
they can, so that struggle that he had to break that conditioning, and how she, and then to see Slade, because dragons, hello, find his twin and he, without knowing,
Yeah.
and then them come together in that relationship. Yeah.
Come together.
Right now, over me.
Over me.
What was yours?
Yes, but
Yes. So what?
I, yes, just
Oh, okay.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I am stuck between Finley and Slade, which pisses me off because I did not want to like Finley,
Yeah.
but I was in love with Slade the moment we met him. Like, I'm pretty sure I messaged Misty within the first like day of reading, and I was like, I love him and I need him in my life forever. um, I really, really enjoyed. I feel like with Slade, you have so many pieces of their story in all the books. Like
Mhm.
Hunter, Kellen, and Finley basically got like their own book where the focus was their relationship. Where Slade, like you get these like bits and pieces throughout the story until you get to the end, and it's just this, like, it's not just Slade accepting the mate bond and like and bonding with M. It's also him accepting himself because he found Talon and found the other piece of his soul and found peace within himself. God, I'm so fucking light and fluffy sometimes. It's sickening.
Oh my god, I just got so lightheaded from that.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my god,
just
that was great. That's gonna
I
be a
just I
YouTube clip,
it's
okay?
yeah, 100%. 100%. So I think I have to pick Slade because his story in and of itself, and then him coming together to M, and then eventually saying like that whole progression is just, it was so well because, and I think what why I picked Slade over Finley, because Finley does very similar to Slade. Like he it wrestles within himself. He's very like like his bear wants to take over because that's how he was protecting himself for so long. So he had the kind of the same kind of story as Slade, but I think what makes me choose in this instance, because I have to, in this instance, Slade over Finley is because at no point did Slade not want to be with M. He just didn't trust himself enough to be with her. And his dragon, and we find out very early in book 2 that his dragon absolutely wants to be with her. And she trusts the dragon. So I feel like it was just, I don't know. I feel like their love story was told across all 4 books, and it was a parallel love story between him actually bonding with her and him finding peace within himself. And that was just really beautiful.
I'm definitely rereading this series once we're done. Okay.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Beautifully said. Yeah. That's a really good point. I totally kind of spaced out on that. You do get like the individual love stories for Keelan and Finley and Hunter
Yeah.
sprinkled in where they have designated focus time on them on the
Hmm.
page and the building of their relationship, but with Slade it's like sprinkled in throughout
Yeah.
the whole thing. I do feel, now that we're talking about this, I do kind of feel like we didn't get enough with Hunter.
I don't disagree with that. I think we get more like one-on-one scenes between Hunter and M, but they're short scenes. And it's always, I shouldn't say always, but most of the time it's Hunter taking care of her in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like he doesn't get a lot of the like love story aspect because he's only soft with her in those moments. Every other moment, he's the entitled alpha. He's taking calls. He's making sure business is taken care of. He's making sure she's safe. He's constantly monitoring four other people until Talon comes along, then five other people, on top of being on a family compound. So I feel like although they didn't get a lot of like one-on-one time as far as like a continuous storyline, I feel like the short scenes that you get pretty often throughout each of the books, you get to see this softer side of him where like at no other point in the series is he soft, or that's like, yeah, just soft.
Yeah.
Although he's not very soft in those scenes either. I mean, you know what I mean?
That was great. I like that. So yeah, there was one thing I was thinking before you asked the question, that there was one thing that I didn't like about the series, but now I can't remember it.
I'll tell you the one thing I didn't like about the series. You want to know the one thing I didn't like about the series? Dicks don't kick. Dude, every
What?
time she said he every time it was like they were getting turned on. He's like, yeah, my dick kicked in my pants. I'm like, no, that is not sexy.
Was that kill?
No, it was all of them.
Really?
Yeah, that's how she described it. Is his dick kicked?
I blocked that out, or I just skipped that part. I don't know.
Lucky for you, because I highlighted it at one point and made a note. I was like, I hate this so much.
That's funny.
Although in another book it used knob, so that's worse.
Now I can't remember what the one thing was that I didn't like.
Sorry, Mebby.
No. It's almost really kind of hard to find things that I
It
didn't
is.
like. It really is. Like
Yeah.
when Soren and the other Omega betray them, there's no second
Mm-hmm.
chances that are done because that was strictly selfish. When
Yeah.
what's his face and her friend are under the bad bitches.
Warwick and Cora.
Yeah, when they're under the, what was her name? Jessica, Julian, Jasenia, whatever. The main witch.
Yeah, whatever her name was. Yeah.
When she has them trapped, like they understand, they come, to an understanding on that. But I just can't remember what the one thing was that I didn't like. I didn't feel like there was too much going on. I feel like it was spread out between 4 books. I mean, potentially it could have been 3, but I think 4 was okay.
Yeah, I
I,
agree.
I don't think there wasn't at any one point I was just like, ugh, are we getting somewhere? Like, I don't feel like I felt that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
I do.
I mean, go ahead.
No, you go. I was going to change the
The only
subject.
thing I was gonna say is the only thing that I wish had been done different is she gets kidnapped twice, and you're dealing with the strongest alpha pack ever.
Hold
How
on,
is
hold
she
on.
kidnapped twice?
Was she kidnapped
That
twice?
Yeah, because they held her at. Hold on, let me think.
So the first time after she does the googly eyes, this is why we don't get to see the reaction, is because the Omega who pretended to be her friend cast a spell on her.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the second time she gets kidnapped. The
I thought that
first
was
time was when the first time I think is when, yeah, it was. The first time was when Slade and her got blasted off their bikes and they were held together. Then she gets kidnapped a second time, and that's when the bond was forced with Talon.
okay. Okay, good point. The first one, getting blown off the bikes with Slade, they explain that the reason why they did it with him is because they knew if they left him behind that he would find her. But you have to
Yeah.
remember that there are people in their city that's betraying them, and it's Soren, his best friend. So they had the inside of how and what their weaknesses were. So that I kind of makes sense. That I get. I
Okay.
don't think it wasn't done.
I didn't think about Sorensen like giving them inside
And it might not have been
information.
Sorensen at that time, but it was definitely his Omega who was feeding
They're
them
Omega.
information. So you have somebody who you think is your, your best friend pack or whatever, and they're betraying you. So
Yeah.
like, here's the access road. Here's what you have to look for. Like, that makes sense to me because it does get explained. And they do explain, Slade's like, the reason why they brought me here, and they say it, is because we would know you would get fined. We knew we had to take her with him out of all of
Yeah.
the alphas that she had. Not that the other ones can't find her, because they do, but they kind of explain that. So the second time she gets kidnapped again, it's because they don't know that their closest pack friend is betraying them. So the Omega puts the curse in the book
Well, okay.
that
So
pulls her out.
honest, yeah, and that those books arrived really early in the
Yes,
series.
they did.
So that makes okay, fine. You win.
No.
Look at you go.
I'm being the logical one.
I know.
But again, it was done so well, and she explained it.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
agree with you. If she hadn't explained it and written it well, I would be very pissed off too. Because again, you have literally the top alphas out of all 3 cities, out of all the
Yeah.
shifters in the world. These are the most powerful. How the fuck are they taking your girl?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that would have pissed me off too. But it's the way that she wove this story. Like, it's what the fuck? Because let me tell you something. When she opened the book and there was a spell, I'm like, what the? Did the guards at the guardhouse like set something up with the books? And then she gets in the forest and it's the other Omega, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I started rethinking all the interactions with Sorensen, or whatever his name is, Sorthum,
Yeah.
whatever.
Sorensen.
And I'm like, was he in on it the whole time? And to be honest, I don't know when Sorensen got pulled into it. That's the only thing that I
Yeah.
think is a little unclear.
Yeah. I think that remains pretty ambiguous throughout
Which I kind of like it that
throughout
way.
the conclusion. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a loose end that didn't necessarily need to be tied up.
Okay, so back to the thing with whatever his name
Sorthum.
is. When he's on the compound, when he enters the compound, and he's like, you didn't think that we wouldn't try to protect our Omega like you're protecting yours. So I think after she took Emmy to Hunter's dad, that's when Soren maybe found out, or maybe she left a note saying like, hey, I have to do this, protect us, which I think is total bullshit. Because I want to believe that if Sorensen's mate was being threatened, that he would go to Hunter and be like, this is happening, I need your help. Whereas she didn't give him the opportunity. She took action first and then told him, and he's like, I have to be reactive now because I know my best friend. We're doomed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't know. The only thing that doesn't vibe with that is she got so far away from her pack without any interference.
yeah.
So that's the thing that makes me question if Sorensen was in on it or not.
Yeah, especially because she kept on saying, I've stayed out in the forest quite a bit. waiting for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because at that point, it had been weeks since she dropped
Mm-hmm.
those books off. So she's having to go out there. Because she even says at one point, you took so long to read the books or something. I don't know.
Yeah. She was pissed.
She was pissed. Fuck her.
Yeah. I still can't remember what I didn't like about the book. I will say, though, you were probably... Is this... No, I was going to say this is our first reverse harem, but that's a total lie because we did Bonds and a whole bunch of other
Total
stuff.
lie. Liar,
I
pants
will
on
say, though,
fire.
I wish there would have been more group scenes. I don't really think there's any.
No, because there's no sword crossing.
That doesn't matter if there's no sword crossing or not. There doesn't have to
They
be
just did,
sword. There doesn't have to be sword crossing for there to be a group scene.
well, I wish there was.
We read Bond the Tide. They have a couple of group scenes, like 1 or 2, and there's no sword crossing.
Do they? I don't remember. I need to reread that series.
Jen.
No, I think the only group scene we get is at the very, very end when they re-cement the mate bond. And even then, you have like the 3 and then Slade and Talon. Slade and Talon always keep themselves apart.
Yeah. I mean, I was okay with that. It didn't take away from the story. I think it was a great story.
No, it didn't. It was a phenomenal story. Thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed.
I'm waiting for you to share your favorite part.
My favorite part?
Steve.
Oh my God!
That was so great. Okay.
So there's a scene where Finley has already decided that he wants to win M over. She's very not interested at this point because he really ended up emotionally damaging her. So while she was already severely emotionally damaged. So he goes out and gets drunk with his best friend Kenzo. And on their way home, he stops and gets her flowers. So he brings the flowers to the pack house. She opens the door to him holding a full tree.
Yeah, because she heard some noise on the porch, like, what the fuck is that? And it's drunk Finley trying to drag the tree up the stairs.
So you don't realize what kind of tree it is. It just says a tree with white flowers. So the next day, the tree's chilling in the sink. It eventually gets potted. You eventually find out that she named it Steve. It's a full-blown fucking tree in the middle of their house. Well, in the next book, Hunter is sitting at the bar of their island reading the paper as he does every morning, and the headline is a local tree farmer lamenting the loss of his prized magnolia tree that he has worked years to create this hybrid that blooms year-round. That's when you realize that Finley stole this prized magnolia tree, and Hunter ended up making a very generous donation in order to make the story go away.
Yeah,
so M could keep her tree.
But Hunter's response is really funny. He's like, "Don't worry, Omega. Like, we'll keep you out of jail."
Yeah,
and alludes to things in the future. He's like, "You don't ever have to worry about that." But yeah, Steve, that's so great.
Damn Finley.
I know, man.
Him.
That and the darling. The first time he said darling, I was like...
And his gift to her being a Ford Bronco. In case you did not know this about me, I am a whore for old body style vehicles, Broncos and Fords. So when that hit the page, I was like drooling. I was so
Okay,
excited.
so that's why you were excited when
Yeah.
you sent me he got her a car?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll have an old school Bronco.
Maybe.
It'd have to be a manual just cuz. Okay, moving on. Anyway, yeah, phenomenal story.
It was so
Great,
good.
great character development. I agree. I think 4 books. I honestly think 4 books was perfect. I feel like if she had gone any shorter, you would have lost some of the character development.
Mhm.
And I think the conflicts that arose in each book made sense as things progressed.
Yeah, and there was no rush to the conclusion either.
No, yeah. But like there wasn't a lot of empty dead space either.
Mhm.
So,
And the
yep,
covers are
very,
really
very well
pretty
done,
too.
Jaymin. The covers are really pretty.
They're so pretty. So pretty.
All right, are we ready to rate?
Let's do this. Darkness.
I feel like this is going to be hard because I feel like you and I are going to battle a little bit.
Let's battle. I'm ready. 2?
Hold on, I'm pulling up our dark.
Yeah, you pull up the scale.
Okay, I'm going to fight for a 3, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Although nothing was super explicit, she does equate being forced to bond as being raped. And I feel like in this world, I feel like that's a fair parallel. So you have that. And then you have the details that come out of Fuckface's experiments. And those are atrocious because you're talking 50 something omegas experimented on across decades in absolutely grotesque ways. So you could maybe talk me into it too because nothing is super explicit, but I do feel like there is really, really heavy content. You have her mom who hung herself, that gets kind of explained a couple of times. And then you have Finley's backstory, what that includes a lot of trauma. You have the abuse that happened to Slade, Hunter, and Talon. I, 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 I feel like there's a lot of heavy content in such a, for lack of a better word, a beautiful series.
I'll give you a 3.
We didn't argue.
Well, okay, we'll argue.
Yay.
So the abuse doesn't happen on page. It's just mentioned. So we don't actually get
Yeah.
to see it. So that's why it could be a 2. The
Yeah.
equivalent
Agreed.
of the bite, yes, while she does equate it to that, she does not have the side effects of somebody who's been assaulted. So it was more of a feeling of you went and pushed my boundary because while
Maybe.
she's locked in the room with Talon, she's not once scared of him. We are not getting together. She's hurt that the choice was taken away
Yeah.
from them, but she's never not once scared of him through the whole entire, like there's none of that trauma or reaction to it. While it may be equated to that, that's not how she responds.
I would disagree. I do think she has a trauma response because she doesn't see him for a couple of weeks, if not a little longer. So she is in that healing mode with Hunter for a good bit before she finally gets the courage to face Talon after everything has happened.
I think that's just because of because you have to remember, not only that happened, she has the fight with Finley, like all the things. So it's all of it. It's not just that
It's a
she shuts down.
culmination.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
while I can see to that part, not as she's doing that, she still's like, okay, where's Talon? I know he's here. I know he might be prisoner, but he's here and I need him here because that's her
Yeah.
mate.
Oh my
So
God.
the
No, remind
lemon
me.
bars. Oh no,
No,
okay,
not
sorry.
the lemon bars. The part where Talon was like mad that Slade didn't torture him more because he's like, listen, you should have I'm honestly disappointed that you didn't torture me more. Unless maybe it was because you were worried that Im would be hurt, in which case I honor that. But like, I'm the bad guy here. You should have gone at me harder.
Don't
That
remember that.
cracked me up.
I
It
don't
was
remember
it was
that.
in his internal monologue,
Oh,
but
okay.
it cracked me up.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I totally.
no, it's okay. I thought you were gonna say the lemon bars because while she's in that healing phase, she bakes a lot, and Keelan is
Yeah.
like, if you fucking touch these lemon bars, I'm gonna kill you. Like legit.
Yes.
Like he turns
Yes.
into like he's no longer the golden retriever
Yeah.
trickster, whatever. He turns into a stone cold killer and is like, I will kill you if you eat these lemon bars.
Yes.
That was
Oh,
adorable.
Kellen, love you.
So like I feel like the reaction doesn't there's nothing triggering about that because again, it's not on page and she doesn't respond as if it actually was an insult.
I mean, she does go into a super depressed mode where her wolf all but disappears for like a week
But
while
again,
they were still captured.
that's an accumulation of the betrayal of finding out that you have another mate, the thing for Slade, the thing with Finley, the learning about what happened to her mom, what happened to all the other Omegas. Like it's this snowball effect that there's no way that we can pinpoint to it only being about that.
No, when she was in that depressed state before Finley came to the rescue, she was down and out without her wolf for like a week.
That was
Now we
side
don't
effects
see a
of
lot of that on page.
that was side effects though of the drug though, I thought.
Oh, I didn't read it like that. I read it as
I read it as a
she.
side effect of losing her free will and the drug or the spell or whatever.
I think you could probably argue for both if you wanted to, but I'm good. I do appreciate that nothing is very explicit on page. So if
Yeah.
we were to review like other things that we've rated as a 3, it would probably land as a 2, even if the content is a lot.
Yeah. So have we decided what the
2 it
darkness
is.
is? I mean, we can
We'll
do
go
a
with the
3.
2.
Like, I agree with you with the 3.
No.
That's a
Yeah.
lie. I don't agree with you with the 3. I think it should be a
No, I
2,
know you don't.
but
Well, I think because it's not as explicit as other books, I'm sure that we would rate it a 3, then I think a 2 is fair.
let's see. Darkness 3. We have Bonds That Tie as a 3. We have the Never King series as a 3. We have Sinner's Duet as a 3. We have Her Soul to Take as a 3. Still Beating is a 3. Part of
I don't know. This
SJM
is
is a
kind of talking
3.
me into making it a 3.
Well, hell, I'm thinking maybe we
Either
need to
or.
relook. Better Run
Either
is a
or. I think
3.
is really. I mean, I guess she
Right?
was kidnapped and held against her will.
That need to be a 4. Why might
Hmm.
not have read what we put Carter Reed as a 3. Accidental Mafia, Scythe and Sparrow, Sinner's Retreat. I think also it doesn't have to encompass everything in the description. I can see parts of the description for 3 as
Yeah.
to why
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did
yeah, yeah,
these.
for sure.
I Yeah, I'm gonna say 2. We have,
Yeah.
we I'm just trying to look at everything else that we have as 2s. That was a stupid ass book.
What one?
Devourer of Men. We put
Yeah.
Thieves and Monsters as 2.
I don't remember that book well enough to argue.
Deliciously Dark Fairy Tales was a 2. Friends with Monsters. Let's see. We put No One Has to Know as a 2.
We're not redoing it. I say we move on.
Okay. Well, what did we just still don't know. How about a 2.5?
I like it.
Okay. Darkness is a 2.5. Spicy.
Okay.
3?
3?
Yeah, 3.
Perfect. Yeah.
That feels about right. There was nothing. It was just good sex, and the praise kink was hilarious.
It was so great. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like whatever.
Yeah, 3. Okay, so content.
5?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say 5.
I don't have I really don't.
Yeah.
The only question I had was her getting kidnapped twice, and I feel like you answered that. You argued that really, really well. So I'm totally good with a 5.
Okay. Overall.
5.
Yeah, 5. It has to be.
This was a fantastic series.
I can't do anything lower than a 5. Like, it's just not possible.
Yeah. I
I'm
agree.
so glad that you read this series and loved it. I wish you had more of a feeling of Emerald Lakes, because I just think this was done better. Not that I don't love Emerald Lakes, I still love it, but this.
Well, the one thing I can say against Emerald Lakes, it was 6 books, right? Was it 5 or 6?
5 or 6, I don't know. It was a lot.
It was a lot. I feel like 4 books for this was perfect. I feel like 6 books for Emerald Lakes was too much. I feel like a lot happened in those books that maybe didn't need to.
Yeah.
So, but that's the only thing I can really remember.
That's essentially it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy right now.
Anything else?
No, please read this. It's amazing.
It's very, very good. It is the Shifter series by Jaymin Eve. Definitely give it a listen, or check it out on Kindle Unlimited. Let us know what you think, or let us know your favorite Shifter series at Bones of the Story on Instagram and TikTok, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on the journey into the shadows of love, where dark romance stories come to light.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bones of the Story as much as we did. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us.
And to stay updated on all things dark romance, follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, ideas, or even your own dark romance stories with us. Drop us a line at bonesofthestory@gmail.com.
Remember, our next tantalizing episode is just around the corner, so keep your hearts open and your senses sharp.
Until then, embrace the darkness and let the stories continue to stir your deepest desires.
This is Misty
and Jen,
signing off
from Bones of the Story.